Good girl, hon. It's time to party, hon. Yeah, you feeling good? Good girl. Good girl, honey. Hey, Ashley. Well, I think I got a good internet connection. That's the Missouri River over there. It's time to party. Ready to party, Daisy? Yeah, hon. Good girl, hon. Oh, yeah. Good girl, honey. Hey, Biggie. Hey, Lana. Got a good internet connection. You want up in the beddy? You want up in the beddy? You feeling good, huh? Good for you, hon. Good for you. Yeah, it's a nice room. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Got a good view of the Missouri River. I mean, kind of a good view. Hey, Rachel. I don't know what you're talking about for sure. Oh, Daisy's happy. Actually, Mari told me about this place. Evidently, there's some Irish connection and Native Americans, and hell, I was coming this way anyway. Well, I would have continued further east on 44, but I came up north and got on 90 for about 22 miles, and then went east, and here I am. Might as well stay here. Well, I went all the way out to Montana, and then I cut through the top. Now I'm cutting through the bottom. So let me see. Michigan, of course, I left. Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Montana, and now South Dakota. Yep. Daisy gets her own bed. That's right. Hey, Dolly. So not as many as you'd think. I'm going to actually go to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and I'm going to take the SS Badger across Lake Michigan. It's a $400, a 4-hour trip, and I'll pack Daisy up, and it's beautiful weather all week. With me in the car, and usually I get a stateroom. It's like $35 or something like that. It's the most fantastic view in the world. You sit about 3 feet off the water and just take a beautiful, leaves at 2 o'clock. So I get to Michigan at 7. So I'll be crossing all the way across Lake Michigan on a beautiful afternoon, evening in a couple days. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been on the Badger before. I used to get stuck with surveillances sometime in Michigan, and it saved me a lot of time to cut up north sometimes and then take the ferry across. With me, the stateroom and the vehicle, it's about $193. But if you look how long the drive is, over on the top to come down through the Mackinac Bridge, I've been down there so many times. The UP is actually pretty boring when you're on Highway 2. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, they got in a lot of trouble. They were supposedly dumping 40 tons worth of lead, which is ash from the exhaust of a coal burning ship, and I think it was mothballed for a while. There's one park there as well they used for parts, and they had to put some kind of purification system on it, and it gave them the green light to sail again. There's a lot of politics involved with that. A big impetus in getting that thing to be able to do that again, travel back and forth between Wisconsin and Michigan, is they had a lot of wind turbine contracts, and that was basically the only game in town, or it was going to cost you twice as much to deliver the stuff. So there was politics involved as well. But I'm glad to see it's out there. It's a hell of a ship. It looks like the Titanic or something. I don't know if you've ever looked up the SS Badger, and I'm really looking forward to doing some nice photography across the way. I mean, that's about it for crossing Lake Michigan and not worrying about drowning. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've got so much video. I did about 10 interviews today. I know I sound like a broken record, but man, I'll tell you this. I've really learned a lot in just the last few days. You know, I I always thought, and I ordered the books on the treaties that the United States negotiated with Native Americans. I haven't read it yet, but I'm curious on, you know, the procedures and how long it took and amendments and that kind of thing. But, you know, up until this trip, this is embarrassing for me to admit this because, you know, I go visit Mari occasionally up on Traverse City, and that's a reservation. And, you know, I knew there were all sorts of reservations out west, and I was always under the impression that that was kind of a negotiated agreement to where the Native Americans were going to get to live in these big, beautiful places amongst themselves and not be hassled. And every single Native American that I've talked to, that I've interviewed, has said that it's like the lady who just checked me into this hotel, 90% unemployment, chronic alcoholism, no future. So, you know, out in the middle of the states that I've traveled, if, you know, you own a 10,000 acre cattle ranch and, you know, you're going on vacation 3 times a year, I'm suppose it's a great life. But for the Native Americans, these reservations seem nothing other than just a holding tank for the poor. And I never knew that. It's really super sad. And I always thought, this is another stupid thing, that, you know, the reservations, I knew they were big, but I always kind of thought that, you know, you'd know when you went in there, like, welcome to the such and such Indian reservation. And you do see signs like that occasionally, but basically it's like these huge, vast areas of land that encompass like tons of little towns that are within the reservation, where people are just, it'll break your heart when you see some of these interviews that I got today. One lady, 77 years old, no legs, just sitting out hoping someone's going to drive by and give her a few bucks in front of an abandoned gas station. I mean, it's one story after another. And the difference that I've had in the interviews, and that is that, you know, there's some variations when I interview the women in Detroit, how they got there, where they came from, what their future's looking like, resources, family. With the Native Americans, it's always the same. Grew up in a reservation, couldn't get a job, got introduced to alcohol, haven't worked, been homeless on and off, and that's the way it is. You know, that's a good question, Choose Joy. Hey, Eric. I mean, I don't really care. I don't hardly, like, this place has a hot tub and a pool. I don't use the amenities at most places anyway. I know it's open. She told me it was open, but I don't give a shit about it. Hey, Eric. So I would say that I don't know how they work that. You know, I'm sure you got to wear a mask and that kind of thing. No, it's not right, but it's way worse than I thought. It really is. This lady was telling me when I checked in here that they have some dry reservations, she said, but in the ones that she knew of, she grew up on one, there were always like liquor stores right outside the reservations that just make buku bucks because, you know, people don't have to drive, they can buy their booze. But I'm really shocked at the amount of poverty and lack of opportunity and just the situation that so many of these people are in. Yeah, I've been on it before, Choose Joy. It's been about 15 years, but it's a good trip. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's going to be great weather forecast all week. I'll probably be getting on it like Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. And leaving at 2 and getting at 7, just sailing across the Lake Michigan, and during that time period on a nice day. I cannot wait for this. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. But this trip's been a good time. I mean, I have fun on all my trips, but I've really kind of gotten turned off on the national parks. And I just prefer going in and out of small towns, no matter where it's at. It doesn't need to be out west. Yeah, there's a good argument for that. Oh, did they really? Where did you see that show on the boat? Yeah, I know they've had a difficult time sailing again. They were really giving him a hard time for a while. I mean, you don't want. I forget what the number was on the ash that they were dumping into Lake Michigan, but evidently this new system is taking care of that, and they didn't think they could afford it. So maybe there were some grants or federal funds, or it was subsidized transportation. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but they are busy. But if you talk to anybody around, like at Wall Drugs today, they said their business is half down. Well, you'd never know it by the people that were in there early on a Sunday. So you're probably right. It is a cash grab. But the funny thing about it is, like, all of them, Glacier included. I only went to two this time, and Yellowstone. I skipped Mount Rushmore. I just didn't want to deal with it. I'm so turned off by it. But Yellowstone's falling apart. Normally they have those hot pools and geysers and all that roped off and signs and the idiot proof. But heck, there's rails are busted down, boards are missing in the boardwalk. It just looks like some place that's on the verge of being abandoned. Roads are all tore up. Oh, really, Melodic? No kidding. Wow. So I'm going to unpack my stuff. I should have a good be able to do a good live later. It's nice to have a decent room. I'm sure the internet's working. Of course, I thought that at the last place. Yeah, but if you look at the roads in these parks, particularly Glacier and even Yellowstone, I mean, I will give them this, that the maintenance has got to be just crazy, especially with the winters and then the spring thaws, and plus you got every idiot in the world driving through there that doesn't take care of anything. Yeah, this is a nice room. It was $82 and $10 for Daisy, which is really not bad. When I was in Yellowstone, they were getting, the top rate was $5.25, $4.50 a night. Rapid City's turned into be a big ripoff. They get $200 all night long going through there. There's only like 4 cars here. The rates don't necessarily drop just because it's not busy. I thought I was going to be home free this whole trip after Labor Day, and it hasn't worked out that way at all. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, Cindy? Yeah. Daisy likes the room. Yeah, it's expensive. I'll tell you, if you travel out west, it's expensive. Food, restaurants are crazy. Rooms are not cheap. You're not getting any $49 room off the expressway. They got you both ways. Here's the thing. Part of it is there's so much distance between a lot of the cities where these national parks are located that, once you get within 50 or 60 miles of a decent-sized town, that's it. People don't want to drive till midnight and check in. And you'll notice, like, I don't know about this one today, but you'll notice that you'll get there if you check in early, like I do if I can, like at 2 o'clock. There won't be anybody in the parking lot, and you'll look out the window at 8 and it's filled. And then when you get in smaller towns like Yellowstone, they really screw you. Because if you look on the map and you see the west entrance to Yellowstone, you are out in the middle of nowhere. They can charge what they want. If you don't like it, you can drive 100 miles in the dark with buffalo walking across the highway all night long to try and save yourself $10. So they got you at West Yellowstone. Oh, tropical storm, huh? Yeah, I mean, I think, I was thinking driving today, this would probably, there's a very good chance this will probably be the last time I'll ever go to any national parks in my life. I'm just not really into them that much, to tell you the truth. I think it's cool, I like it, but I like just traveling randomly in small towns and interviewing people, and I just as soon drive around them all, and they're such an unbelievable ripoff now. It's crazy. Livingston, Montana is another crazy rip-off place. And I'll tell you, I haven't been there in 20 years, But I spent a month one time in Deadwood, South Dakota, and it wasn't too much longer after they filmed that Dancing with Wolves, and Kevin Costner went out there and he bought his brother a bunch of stuff, a bar and a restaurant, and they bought a golf course. And this would have been around 2000. And at the time, the locals were kind of pissed. They didn't want him taking the character away from Deadwood. Well, let me tell you, the character of Deadwood now, it looks like Disney World. I did get some pretty good video and some photos of Mount Moritz Cemetery where, you know, some of the famous old cowboy people were around and that kind of thing. And that's just so commercialized now. I mean, you can get a plastic headstone of your favorite deceased person as you leave. It's all these mega hotels. Deadwood is just like Disney World now. It's nothing at all like it used to be. Oh man, the homeless out here is off the charts crazy. There was a place in Billings. You go behind the Golden Corral, and it looked like people getting ready for a sporting event. There were so many people down there just looking for a place to sleep. Like, I got up early this morning because I hated where I was staying. I wanted to get the hell out of there and get on the road. 5 o'clock in the morning, I went and found a Starbucks that was open in some mall that opened at 5. They had a drive-through, and there were people walking all over, drunk, pushing shopping carts. The whole, I don't know how many miles up to here, maybe 1,000, 1,200, something like that, you know, heading back. Just drunk Native Americans everywhere, sleeping on the streets, pushing shopping carts, sleeping in the parking lots of Walmart. And these Walmart out here are super busy. No, Deadwood absolutely sucks. I went to the cemetery, and downtown they were doing some stupid thing with a plastic rattlesnake, playing some cowboy music, and that was enough for me. And you could hardly find a place to park. Deadwood is so super commercialized now, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I mean, I had some sad stories. It's depressing talking to these Native Americans. It really is. Really sad. It really does. Yeah, I think that too, man. I mean, you look at these communities. Out here, it's basically farming or cattle, and that's it. And everybody else is working a $10 an hour job someplace. I was surprised the guy to tell me this morning that Wall Drugs was off 50%, and they've only got half the people employed. Yeah, that's surprising. That's a hell of an interesting place. I mean, to me, you know, I don't want to make it you feel bad about watching someplace you've never been before, but it just strikes me as kind of like, if you've ever been to Kissimmee, Florida, you know, which is close to Disney, although Disney's went out of their way to make sure that there's no exits and convenient travel to and for. If you're driving down to Florida, they've got every road possible taking you right down to Disney, where it costs you $400 or $500 a night. They've really kind of alienated Kissimmee over the years, but Wall Drug reminds me of Kissimmee. You know, it's got every plastic buffalo you can find. Speaking of plastic buffaloes you can find, you know, I'm going to show you guys I got Mari a couple rocks, and I got people that were on that live. The cheesiest 1960s gift I could find. So here's Mari's petrified wood. There's a polished one and an unpolished one right there. And then this, the cheesiest gift ever, a plastic refrigerator magnet. A plastic refrigerator magnet. I got you, Melodic. It just reeks cheap family travel. Oh, isn't it though? Just to see how it's going to look on a refrigerator. Right there. That's how it's going to look on your refrigerator. Yeah, she's really into rocks. And Daisy's a good girl. She likes this cool room. You feeling good? You feeling good, hon? It got up to 92 today for a while, but the good news is I was heading east, so the sun was behind me, and I bought gallons of water, and I give her water every hour. But it's still hot, and you can haul ass out here 85, 90 miles an hour. The other night I did 93 miles an hour for 108 miles without letting off the gas. I've got a governor on that, and it won't go over 100. But the Astrovan is a beast. Oh, cool. Yeah, 93 it got today, yep. What do you want, hon? Yeah, I'm gonna go get something to eat. There's places downtown. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Wow, feeling good in that air conditioning, huh? Wow, wow. You feeling good? No, Frederick, it's well put, and that's great observation. That's exactly right. Yes, I do. Only way better food. The food has actually looked excellent. I got a pecan roll that was, the best one I ever had. Moist, butter, hot. Most of them I don't get because they're crappy. And they had super hot coffee. If you it's like Telway coffee. I mean, maybe the grade isn't that great, but when they're serving it at 206, which is what you're supposed to, when they're serving it at 206, you spill that on you, you're going to burn your ass off. I'm surprised in a tourist place with a bunch of kids running around, they've got the balls to serve coffee that hot, but it's excellent. Yeah. Walkie, walkie, bye-bye. That's what he said. Sammy said, walkie, walkie, bye-bye. No, that'll never happen to me again in my life, to get a steak like that in the middle of nowhere where I was the only customer. And that lady was such a sweetheart. I was going to try and hook her up with Kat, because I think that would be an absolute perfect location. Perfect location for a lady to sell t-shirts that talk about her restaurant. I'd have bought one if they had it. I mean, I'm not really into buying t-shirts, but it's so unique and so interesting that I think she could make a killing selling t-shirts. All right, okay, all right. Oh, Daisy says hello. Well, I'm going to unpack my stuff, and then I'll show you Chamberlain, South Dakota. Like I said, Mari told me about this place a few hours ago, and there's some connection with the Irish and what they did to the Native Americans here. I mean, in a good way. I don't know whether they gave them money or built them a new building or whatever, but I'm going to find out. So give me about an hour, and then I should be able to do a good live out here, sticking my camera out the window. Yeah, wasn't that cool, Diane? It's an interesting place, I hadn't been there in 20 years. I was in that parking lot one time when they got about 2 foot of snow and spent the night there. I used to come out west a lot, but... Yeah, I'll do that. I'll definitely do that. Yep. So I'll sign off here now, and then I'll stay on in about an hour and see what the deal is here downtown. I am, honey. I am. I am, honey. Hey, Bertha. Yeah, I sure will. Yep. So you guys take care, and I'll see you in a little bit. That sound good to you? All right, we're gonna go. Bye-bye. Yeah, we're gonna go. Is that what you want to go? All right, see you guys. Yep. Okay, hon.